Hello, and welcome to a new video. Now, before I begin, I have to tell you that it is super hot right now. Like, my room feels like an oven, and if I don't keep this fan on right now, I will melt. Okay, I will just die. I will not be able to film. So, I'm just gonna keep the fan on. I have my mic on, so hopefully it's drowning out the noise, but if it's not, I'm sorry, it makes some noise. Just deal with it, please. Hi, my name is Smriti. I talk about books here while I also die in the heat. However, I am going to today talk to you about the books that I plan to read for the month of November, and it is a special time and month because it is Non-Fiction November. Now, I always thought that Non-Fiction November was just like a thing on the internet, but turns out that everything that is on the internet is actually invented by someone. So that is invented by Olive over out at Books with Olive, I would like to say, and she is awesome. She has been doing this for like about 9 years now, and basically, yeah, Non-Fiction November is a time where we just read non-fiction in the month of November. That's essentially the idea. And that's what I plan to do as well, because I have a bunch of non-fiction books that I really want to read, apart from the usual fiction that I also plan to read. So I'm going to talk to you about all the books that I plan to read, but also some hopefuls. Like, I am an organized person where I like to have a TBR, but I also like to organize my maybes in case I want a mood read. I'm a weird person, never mind me. But yeah, let's begin with Non-Fiction November's TBR. So basically what Olive does is that she gives you like 4 word prompts, and from those 4 word prompts you can choose like what you may think of it. So the words are record, element, border, and secret. Now I'll go with the first word, which is record, and for record I chose Dave Grohl's biography, which is The Storyteller, and this is his memoir. And I love Dave Grohl. He is from the Foo Fighters, but he was also in Nirvana, and I just love like all of their music, and I just really love Dave Grohl as a person. Like, I don't know too much about him, but like from whatever I have gleaned off the internet, I just think that he's like this really interesting person, and I think that he's been part of like music in this very like intense time period. So I think that he would be able to tell some very awesome stories. This is a book that I have been putting off for a very long period of time because I don't know, I just think that I have maybe too many expectations from it. Like, I first heard of it, I was just like, I need to consume this immediately, and then I was just like, I'm too scared to do so. But not anymore. I really want to read this. I also am going to be checking out the audiobook that is narrated by him. So yeah, I'm just super excited by that. He also has like a lot of pictures and like postcards, etc., that he puts in the book, which is just awesome. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to reading this. And this is record because he makes a lot of records, but it's also a record of his life. So yay! So that's the first book. The second thing is Element, and for that, another book that I've been putting off for a long period of time is this one, which is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. And I chose Element like because like a house is made out of many elements, but also this is a memoir about her relationship that was an abusive one with her partner, and she talks about it in this very interesting way, which is not how usual memoirs sort of go. So it's like out of its element of sorts. Well, I just think that it goes anyway. So yeah, so Element is this one, and I am really looking forward to reading this one because, as I said, it's a memoir that is told in this really genre bending sort of way, and everyone just praises it so much. So yeah, I can't wait to read this one. The next one is Border, and for Border I have this one, which is Secondhand Time by Svetlana Alexievich. And this basically talks about the Soviet Union and the fall of the Soviet Union, but told through the perspective of various women and like regular people who had to deal with it, and it chronicles their lives over like 2 decades and stuff. And this is like a Nobel prize winning book. So yeah, I have been wanting to read this one for a while, but I've also been really intimidated by it because of its chunkiness. But I think that like this is the year that I'm gonna finally do it, so I can't wait to read this one. And then the fourth prompt, I think, is secret. And for secret, I am going to choose The Man Who Loved Books Too Much by Allison Hoover Bartlett. And this is basically about this man who would like steal and like do like heists of books which were like really expensive, like first editions of books and like all of that sort of stuff. And we basically follow this guy, and it's a true story, and it's just like, what? I don't quite know too much about this. I don't want to know too much about this. I just want to read this. As soon as I heard of it, actually on Olive's channel, I just had to like, yeah, I had to read it. So I am glad that I'm going to be reading it now in the month of November. But apart from that, another book that I think that I want to read through like the month is going to be this one, which I have been anticipating to read for a while now, which is How to Be Perfect by Michael Schur. It's saying how to be perfect, the correct answer to every moral question. And this has questions like, should I punch my friend in the face for no reason? To I screwed up, how do I say sorry? And a bunch of other things. And Michael Schur is the guy who like basically created The Good Place, but also The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, basically all of my favorite sitcoms. But from The Good Place, he started talking and thinking a lot about like ethics and like philosophy and stuff like that, and I just want to see what he thinks, and what like he got from like, you know, that whole journey of making that TV show. So yeah, I am really kicked to read this one, and I think I'm just gonna like read chapters of it through the month, so that's gonna be exciting. So these are my books that I sort of tentatively definitely want to read. Like this is my fixed TBR for now, but however, I have other books as well that like I might want to read instead, or maybe I will read them as well, I don't know. But other non-fiction books are well, Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. This is a book that again I've been wanting to read for so long now, but I haven't, because I don't know, I'm just like again scared for some reason. I have too many hopes from this one, and I don't want them to come crashing down. Basically, that's like the thought process. And yeah, I just have always loved Anthony Bourdain and all the things that he does. So I just can't wait to read this one. I'm also going to listen to the audiobook, which is narrated by him. So I think that's going to really add to that experience. But yeah, that's this one. Another one that I am halfway through, not halfway through, like, but a bit through, is this one, which is In Search of the Divine, which is Living Histories of Sufism in India. This is a book that I had to interview the author for, so I read parts of it, but I still have to read a bunch more to finish this book, and I thought that it was really interesting, so I want to continue on with this journey of reading it. It is basically, it talks about like Sufism, so like the first part is all about like Islam and Sufism and how that is connected. The second part is of all the silsilas, all the chapters of Sufism and all the different sort of like people who practice Sufism, the various like chapters of them, and they all like really differ. And then the other one is just like a bunch of other things about Sufism and like, yeah, like Sufism and mental health and like all of that sort of stuff. So I just think that it's going to be interesting, and I want to finish it. And yeah, there's that. Another one that I have in front of me here is a book that I've been meaning to read for a while now, honestly. Like, I was supposed to read this in May, and then everything happened. But anyway, point is that this book is this one, which is I Have Not Seen Mandu by Swadesh Deepak, which is translated by Jerry Pinto. And this is a memoir that the author wrote when he was going through like psychosis, essentially. Like, he was having a breakdown. He was bipolar, and he essentially wrote this when he was going through an episode which tragically didn't fare well, I think. I'm not too sure, but like, I just think that it's going to be really interesting to read this book with like, and just try to be in the mind of a person who is going through that. I think it's going to be very harrowing, but also very effective in just trying to understand what a person might be thinking and going through. And yeah, like, this is a topic that is very close to my heart, mental health in general. So I think that this is going to be a book that I've been meaning to read for a while now. But yeah, let us see the other books that I have in mind that is on my phone. Yeah, okay, so another one which is mental health related is Happening by Annie Ernaux, who won the Pulitzer. And this is basically a short memoir of basically her time when she had an abortion, if I'm not mistaken, and like what exactly was going through her mind during that process. And it was basically like an abortion which wasn't, basically it was like she had to go to someone to get that done, and it wasn't like a hospital medical situation. I don't quite know, but I've heard it's very like harrowing. I don't know. But also like beautifully written. I mean, she did win just the Nobel. So yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. And yeah, the other one that I want to read is Genderqueer, which is a graphic novel. So that's a change, which is by Maia Kobabe. And yeah, it's basically about being genderqueer and being non-binary, if I'm not mistaken, I think. And yeah, that's, and their whole experience. So that is going to be interesting and awesome, and I can't wait to read these books because they all sound so awesome. Now we move on to the other books that I plan to read, which are not non-fiction. But the first one is this one, which hopefully should come out soon, but I have been sort of jinxed with like these sort of videos that I've been wanting to make, which is like basically like read the book and then see whether the book was better than the adaptation. I have just in my previous video spoken about how I wanted to read The Essex Serpent, and then I didn't end up like watching the TV show. I didn't even end up finishing the book. But anyway, point is, I want to read My Policeman and then watch the movie starring Harry Styles, and then tell you what I think is better, the book or the movie, and like just do like a quick like review of both of them. I just genuinely think like that idea is kind of cool, and it marries both my loves. So yeah, I hope to read this one in the beginning, and that will hopefully come out as soon as the movie comes out on Amazon Prime, which is I think the 4th of November, I think. So yay, that you will look forward to very soon, and I'm going to hold myself to this. But another video project that I want to do, that I actually asked you on the community feed to vote for, and you voted for this one, which is to read the first and last book of Otessa Moshfeg. So I've had this book, which is Eileen by Otessa Moshfeg, for a while now. This I bought when it got shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2016. So I have legit had this on my shelf for 6 years. But yeah, so I've been meaning to read this one for a while. Don't know what it's about, but I've heard it's like a unlikable character, and I like those. And then the most recent book of hers that's just come out in 2022 is Lapvona, which is basically about this medieval town of sorts, and something to do with this boy. I don't know what either of those books are about. Honestly, honest to God, I don't. This is why I've never understood why I should do a TBR video, because I try not to read too much about a book right before I read it. But yeah, this is how I will link all the books down for you to Google. But yeah, so Lapnova is about a book set in medieval times. Then in a small village, it talks about like feudalism. Ugh, don't know. Class and some weird things happening, but I've heard it's really like gruesome and icky. So yay. But yeah, I've been wanting to read that for a while, and I've been wanting to read this for a while, so I'm going to do a first and last of the author, and that's going to be a video that you can look forward to. And then of course there is this chunky chunkster, which is Tomb of Sand, that I have been wanting to read for a while now. I actually, if you saw my end of the year TBR video, which I just put up right before this one, I mentioned that this was a book that I started reading and I was about 230 pages in, and then I got COVID, so I stopped reading it because my brain was mush. But now I am gonna restart it actually, because that was quite a while ago, and then I'm going to talk to you about it in great detail. I'm going to do like a dedicated review vlog sort of thing for it. Do you want me to vlog it, or do you want me to just like do a dedicated review? Please tell me down in the comments. But yeah, these are pretty much most of the books that I plan to read in the month of November. It's quite a bunch of books, as you can see here. But yeah, let me know what you plan to read. Are you participating in Non-Fiction November? I would love for you to tell me what you plan to read. If you have read any of these books as well, let me know. And yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you watch any of these videos that pop up on your screen. I hope that you subscribe to me because I'm a fun time. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.